Alright everybody, welcome back to another video. This time we're discussing my thoughts and hopes on Path of Exile 2. Now, I'm just going to throw this out there. I am part of the minority and majority at the same time. I am a blind minority, father, majority, casual ARPG enjoyer, right? I love Diablo 3, love Diablo 4, Diablo 4 especially because of accessibility. I would love to try out things like Grim Dawn, Last Epoch, Path of Exile, all these other ARPGs which supposedly are better than Diablo 4. However, here's the problem. None of the content creators I've followed or listened to have tried to discuss accessibility. Now, then again, to be fair, these content creators are not disabled players. They are not going to think about, what about screen reader support for fully blind players? What about subtitles and closed captions or whatever for deaf players? They're not going to think about that, which is fair. However, I want to throw this out to the void, and hopefully either the developers of PoE 2 or some content creators catch this and, maybe they react to it, maybe they send it out or whatever. But I hope to use Diablo 4 as an example of an accessible ARPG, and hopefully they get some ideas and they can implement something in the game, because I have tried Path of Exile 1. I'll tell you right now, that game is old. That game does not have the same accessibility that Diablo 4 does, not by a long shot. The big thing for an ARPG, to me and a lot of other blind players who have enjoyed Diablo 4 and are playing it constantly, well, not constantly, but are playing it, is the screen reader support, meaning whatever the console runs on, so PlayStation 5, Xbox, PC, or with the game will run on, will be integrated with screen reader support, meaning so like this reads Ardenal Healer, the person, Corman, Alchemist, like it's reading every NPC I'm interacting with. It reads the map, right? It reads items. Sorry. Reads items, reads the map, reads NPCs, it reads your friends, like names as you walk, like it reads anything that might be a visual thing you have to read if you can't see it, right? That's the idea of a screen reader. It even reads like enemies and stuff, so it's just pop open whatever sigil I have. Just pop it. I don't really care about it. Teleport confirmation. There we go. Cool. Reading all these things. Now I'm gonna read the tooltip. Slay the Keepers 3. Okay, so I have 3 Keepers of the Google. Oh, here's a Inquisitor. So you guys got a basic idea of how it works, right? So it reads the characters' names, NPC or enemies' names. The only fault I will give Diablo 4 currently is that I don't know if there's a way to determine when you're locked on. My idea is take Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time, how Navi basically just has that loud, like, I can't even, like, impersonate the sound. But yeah, that'd be a great quality of life feature for a blind player. But the big thing for an RPG is a screen reader, because it reads all the gear, the skills, everything, so you don't have to worry about trying to text read with your phone or wait for someone with vision to read it for you, and it takes so long. Like, it just makes it so much more blind player independent, basically, right? So that's the big one. The other big thing I can think of is any visual effect to have an audio effect as well. For example, I was listening to Darth Microtransaction talk about on the basically detonating corpse or whatever, that on-death effect in PoE, how it killed his hardcore characters, right? Now, visually, there's a red line you can see to try and avoid or get out of the way or whatever. Auditorily, is there sound for it? I don't know. I never played the game. I can't play the game. So, I don't know. Maybe if there is a sound. Wait. They did mention in a conversation that they are looking at doing a lot more like audio effects, audio cues, like transitional phases for bosses and whatever else. So maybe they already thought about this, right? And that's the distinction between accidental accessibility and just legitimate accessibility features. Something like a screen reader is legit accessibility. Something like the visual and audio effects or whatever to indicate something happening that's like just accidentally there, like just just so happens to be accessible because the devs thought about it, without having to think about actual accessibility. The other thing that Diablo 4 did right, in my opinion, is there's loot sounds, essentially acting as a loop filter because you can make it only do sounds on magic, rare, whatever. So like for me, I have it for comments, so I pick up everything and salvage everything. But at a certain point, it'll just be just rares only, right? And so like by that logic, I only ever pick rares or higher. So the legendary drop right there. So I don't know if you guys heard that. So there's more loot drops everywhere. So those are the two big things: the screener support, and it has the loot sounds. And this guy just won't leave me alone. And then the other big thing they added in a patch actually for season 2, they added this as an accessibility buff essentially. They added sound effects for the traversal sound. The traversals where you like hit circle to jump or traverse or duck. They added sound effects for those. Sorry. So yeah, yeah, again, all these customization features and options. The other big thing that will be a great benefit to a lot of players, I know, will be some sort of navigation assist, especially for a game like PoE. From what I've heard, it's kind of complicated as far as like mechanics and the way the maps are laid out. Which that's the other thing too, is that the screen reader not only reads all your stats and gear and like your character stuff, so you can actually build your own builds, but it also like reads like affixes for the dungeons, or the number dungeons in this game, which are like, you know, elites always have shock or whatever, like whatever. The screen reader is just like the biggest selling point to me. If they were to come out tomorrow like, hey, here's all the accessibility, full screen reader support, I'd be like, yes, you guys have my money, done. Like, it's like, as long as, like, if it's something like equivalent to or better than Diablo 4, because there are a couple screens in Diablo 4 where it does not read, but if it was equivalent to it, then we'd be good. The other thing is, the main things I would hope to hear about, I guess, if I want to keep the verbiage accurate to my blindness, screen reader support, loot sounds, hopefully they add sound effects for any visual things on screen, like transitions or like certain death effects or things to look out for visually, so you can just hear them like, oh shit, there's a timer or something happening, we run the other way. Which Diablo 4 does this quite well, and in fact so does Diablo 3, where there's a lot of like sound and wind up, and you can hear, okay, there's something big about to explode, and we move or whatever. So it does that pretty well. It's a little tricky once things get going, but it's an option. I'm trying to think what else as far as like pure accessibility. Making an RPG accessible is a much different task than a fighting game like Mortal Kombat 1 or Street Fighter 6, or even a shooter like Call of Duty. Like it's harder. It's like a different challenge to think about. I don't think it takes much though. Like I said, I think the big thing would be the screen reader support, loot sounds, and just conveying all the visual stuff auditorily as well, or having the option to do that at least. Those are the big ones I can think of. So if you guys, if anyone, is here and interested in Path of Exile 2, or can share this with the devs, or maybe even other content creators, maybe they can spread the word better than I can. Greatly appreciate it. Thanks again for watching. Don't forget to leave a like, comment, share, and subscribe. Greatly helps push the video out. Hopefully we get more people talking about this topic, because I am greatly interested in PoE too, but if it's not accessible, it's going to be very hard to really justify playing the game. So yeah, hope to see you guys. Hopefully we hear about accessibility.